So what is this video about? I want to describe a tool that I wrote to um, display and edit shape data in a tabular way. So let's say you've got a drawing of any kind, and your application requires data, and maybe a little bit more than just a few. And this drawing is small, and if you want to edit that these this data, you select your shape, and then in the shape data window you begin to write your data here. So that's a load cell. In German it's a Wegezelle, and then you repeat that for the next one, and that's cumbersome. Of course, you can do some things a little bit cleverer by selecting several shapes if that's the same. If it's the same thing, the same value that you want to enter, and you write in that only once, that you get it for the same value. But let's say the number, for instance, let's say it's not 10, 11, and 12. You want to have that 20, 21, and 22, and that just takes time. And worse is if you've got a big drawing in the middle of your work, you begin to fiddle to adjust your shapes and to reformat that. You cannot concentrate on your task, and you jump from one shape to the other. That's not a nice working. What you need when you really edit this data is a table. So having these shape data in a table like in Excel, and then you just write in the values that you want. Yeah, fine. But if it's just a separate table, it's of course very difficult to identify which part is which, and that's where this tool comes in. So basically, you get an absolute general tool to edit any property of the shape, and you would then open your drawing, use this Excel file, which is only a macro-enabled Excel file. You just started, all the macros are inside, there's no further installation required. And having this tool, you can go now to the template, which is basic and just has as filters, as an example, cell exists pin X. That's true for any shape. And then you've got your data where you define the fields that you want to see. And in my case, I've worked that out already. I copied basically this template and renamed the copy to data_parts. And that is fundamental. So this tool will only work in worksheets that have this data_ prefix in their name. So everything that you do in helper, shapesheet, template, and so on is not affected. Only these data parts. And once you have defined your filter property, so which shapes to insert, because you don't want, especially when working with data, you don't want to import every shape, but just relevant ones. In my case, if the property fg for function group exists, then import that shape. I could have chosen another filter, other condition. Now, for this case, That's what defines my shapes that I want to edit. And I then set up, wrote in the fields that I want to see. In my case, that's the machine, FG, the prefix electrical, mechanical, number, and so on. And the only thing that I have now to do is to push that start sync button to synchronize the two documents. What does it do? It has a synchronization in matters of selection. That means if I select something here, of course, that must be switched on. If I select a row here, I select automatically the shape in Visio, and so I can see what I'm working on. So in this case, a valve, and then here I've got a pump, and so on. If I select a shape in Visio, the same will be selected in Excel, so vice versa. Yeah, it works in both ways. And also editing, the updating of values will be done in both ways automatically. So let's say I take the very first one, and this one I don't want to have it in the function group 100, but 500. I write in here my value. Need to go back, of course, and then you see here in FG there's that 500 written in. All the same, if I update this value here to 100, you see that in Excel it updates also. That is fine for working with the regular data, but with the tool you can do more than that. So let's say, a simple example. I've drawn kind of graph, whatever. And here in this case, I defined the property to be property is 1D and the value should be 0. So that's not a field, that's a property of the shape. It cannot find it in the shape sheet. It is the property 1D, which says it's 1D instead of 2D, so it's a line or a connector. And 0 is the value false, so it's not a 1D. And let's check it. So I push my start sync, and if I select then my rows, you see that it selected the 2D shapes. The value true in Visio is -1. So if here I give in a -1, then it will select all the connectors of that shape. Yeah. But let's go back to 0, and let's erase this. So these two lines are interesting because in standard, if that's empty, the tool will import data using the result string function, and that would look like this. So you get a value with a unit, and well, this is fine. So I still can edit that stuff. So let's say I want to have a round number here, not 301, but 300. So you still can edit it, but if you want to copy or use a formula, that's maybe not really what you want to have. So you can use other functions like result int, formula, and so on. Write only is for later on, it's not implemented yet. But let's now try it with result. When you use result, you need to indicate indicate a unit. So in my case, let's say millimeters. If I now push that sync button, you see the same value, but without those millimeters, so it imports a float with a result int. No, it's not implemented yet. It would um, truncate the numbers after the comma. And you can also work, for instance, with the formula, and then this could look this way. Or you will see that in if I work with connectors with 1D shapes, you will see that pin X is a calculated field, not a real value. And basically, you could edit that here. Well, in this special case, Visu will prevent that, but you can also work with the formulas themselves and not only the values. And you've seen that I've got this auto update and auto select and zoom and so on. If I switch that off, I can work with result that's fine. Now I can do funny stuff like pin X, that would be the horizontal direction. Now I could say do something like 100 here, and then plus 30, copy. That doesn't like that. Let's try it this way. Yeah. So now these are calculated values. If now I push these values and the auto update is disabled, I push all these data to Visio, then you can see that should have changed that. No, did not work. Why not? Of course, silly me. I did not switch back to the 2D shapes. So let's repeat that with the 2D shapes, where pin X can actually be edited. For a 1D shape, that's not possible. So let's edit that here, and we take this value and we add 30 millimeters. We copy that formula, and now if now I push that here, yeah, you see that he has crumbled all those shapes with these new values. I can re-import them, and then we should 230 to 530, and yes, the values are in. If I switch on the auto select, you see that this has been done. Similarly, you can also work with not only with position and angle and whatever, but also with formulas like for the colors, like the fill foreground or the line color. You can also now edit these colors and do funny stuff. And that's where this tool shines, because namely that it is really completely open to almost any property or cell of the shape sheet, and that you can edit it on the fly. Yeah, that's it as introduction. Thank you.